Hello and welcome to another Dragonstorm Studios video. And today we're going to be doing our drawing component on a wall as if it was in a medieval setting, an alleyway perhaps, on the plain of Ravnica from Magic the Gathering. One of the purposes of this, however, is to focus on our character, Massacre Girl. Now, Massacre Girl is a Rakdos character from the color identity of red and black, which is normally not my style. They're kind of morbid and they're all about pain as well as pleasure. And the circus of Rakdos is very distinct in its spikes, and it's just, I don't know. They look scary, and I'm not scary. I'm not into horror films, but I gotta admit I love flavor text. And on cards, flavor text is a part of the bottom, which just talks a bit about the reasoning or the identity of a character. And on the card, Thrill Kill Assassin, in the Return to Ravnica, I believe it was, set, they mentioned a character called Massacre Girl. And that was intriguing. And then in War of the Spark, they actually made a card for that character. And that was so cool. And I love the idea of that character, even though assassination and that whole Rakdos identity is really not my style. But I was struggling for someone to represent as Massacre Girl, and I came across a person actually from years ago on DeviantArt named MountyMacabre. And she is such a cool character, such a cool personality, really awesome, and cool makeup, very cool eyes, and I thought she would make a great subject for Massacre Girl. So here she is, looking all cool. Rakdos is all about, I guess, like in close fighting, so spikes and all sorts of chains and other sorts of implements. And so we've got a couple of those being represented here. But I wanted to kind of put her in an environment which would suit that kind of assassination, as if we were stumbling upon her in the middle of her plying her trade, and she is not happy about it being interrupted here, and we might find ourselves victims to this character. And a wall with masonry, which is maybe kind of, falling apart here and there, broken a little bit, imperfect, really gives the idea that we want of an alleyway. And this is the sort of place where might find someone like this after hours in the dark, with their mark. And I just love that kind of almost like a spy kind of mentality that goes on a great deal when you come to that kind of not culture, but that kind of idea. And I don't know, just a unique sort of environment. I mean, I think alleyways in general, because of things such as graffiti and the little things that you might come across, not always nice and sometimes squishy, are just kind of like an interesting sort of place. Like I think of Diagon Alley from Harry Potter, and maybe it's not a perfect comparison, but just a unique sort of place. As an artist, I'm kind of drawn to places like that, even though I may not want to frequent them at night. So one important thing is to keep also your lines not perfectly straight, and also the masonry and the brickwork isn't always completely even either, which is totally fine. I'm going to add some texture here and there to the bricks, and that's mostly done through a bunch of little dots, as we might have seen in the Aurelia video with Scarlett Johansson, and maybe even some nicks and imperfections, places where maybe some impact has occurred, causing distortion or deformation to the bricks themselves. And just random. I'm not putting a lot of time and thought into where these sorts of dots and imperfections are going. They're kind of just all over the place, because as time and weather batter these bricks, they're gonna get some damage here and there. So just here and there, you might kind of add, some scuff marks perhaps, or some places where maybe a turned blade caught some of the brick perhaps. And although I'm not keeping them perfectly even, I want to try and get the idea that maybe they all came from the same brickyard. So they have a similar sort of size to them here and there. I'm then going to take my trusty blending stump, and I'm just going to kind of fill in some of those bricks here and there. Now, I'll take some time to do that on camera, but I think we can skip a lot of that because that's largely boring. And I don't want to certainly waste your time, your hard-earned time with this video. I appreciate your time, absolutely. And so I'll keep working on those bricks and I'll be right back. All right, so I've done that. I've also added a shadow beneath the bricks because you do get from a side view a bit of an indentation where the mortar is, and add some dots to the mortar for texture as well. I also realized that I'd kind of done a very poor engineering or I guess brickwork job over here. I'd actually stacked the bricks up, which would not have led to a lot of stability. So I've kind of separated those as well. So the end result is it just gives a little bit more interest to the picture, as if we've actually got this character in the alleyway. Now, light source wise, I've got light coming from this direction. You can see from the shadow over here. Ooh, you can't see the shadow over there. You can see maybe the shadow here. The light source is from above. And so as a result, I'm going to be adding a shadow of all of these objects on the wall. So our subject is right near the wall as we've kind of caught her in her deed of death. And we're just going to create that shadow. And I'm going to just steal every now and then a little bit of the darkness from the outfit to help me make that shadow really stand out. We're kind of stealing from Peter to pay Paul, as it were. And that just gives a bit more depth in our work. I also tried to make sure that my picture had lots of nice, very dark areas so that the shadows and the bricks wouldn't get lost. But at the same time, I wanted to go darker on the bricks than the skin tone of the character. And that way, not a lot of that hard work that you've done goes missing. And we won't be able to see the shadow of her head because it would be on the other side of her there. So it's looking pretty good right now. I'm pretty happy with that. The only other thing I need to add now, and again, this took a bit of foresight, because I've now got the background done, I can add some reflections in the glasses. So we can just kind of take our eraser. We've already got some dark areas of the brick there, and now we can just get rid of some of that shading to create some reflection in the glasses. And that just, again, just adds a bit more realism to the picture there. I'm not sure if that you can see that on camera very well. A little bit. And there is our picture of Massacre Girl in an alleyway looking all epic and cool. So I hope you enjoyed that video and that discussion on drawing those medieval style walls imperfectly as they are. If you enjoyed that video, please make sure you give it a like, to share it to people who might be like-minded as you. And also, if you think the video deserves it, give the channel a subscription, please. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you next time.